Good morning and welcome. At this time, I call to order Muskogee Creek National Council pre-agenda, April 24th, 2021. Time is 9 a.m. At this time, I'd like to ask Representative Joe Hicks to do the invocation, please. Amen. Thank you, Representative Hicks. Roll call, National Council Secretary Christy Jackson.
Speaker Randall Hicks.
Present.
Mary Crawford. Present. Joyce Steer.
Present.
Patrick Freeman. Joseph Hicks.
Here.
Robert Huft.
Present.
James Jennings.
Here.
Adam Jones. Here. William Lowe.
Here.
Anna Marshall. Charles McHenry.
Here.
Thomasina Hulla Osborne.
Present.
Gerald Proctor.
Here.
Mark Randolph.
Present.
Travis Scott.
Here.
Lucian Tiger III.
Present.
Speaker, you have 16 present, 0 absent.
16 present, 0 absent, constitutes a quorum. All business conducted will be official. Agenda review, health, education, and welfare, Chairman Lucian Tiger III.
Thank you, Speaker. We have no additions.
Thank you, Chairman Tiger. Land, Natural Resources, and Cultural Preservation, Chairman Mark Randolph.
No, Speaker, we have no additions.
Thank you, Chairman Randolph. Business, Finance, and Justice, Chairman William Lowe.
No, Speaker. We have no additions.
Thank you, Chairman Lowe. Next item on the agenda is other business. Interviews. First, we have Rodney Llewellyn for Muskogee Nation Business Enterprise Board of Directors, Muskogee Nation Businesses, LLC Board of Directors. Mr. Llewellyn, please come to the podium, sir. Good morning, sir. Please share with the National Council your education, background, and experience for this position. Mr. Llewellyn, can you sit? Is that microphone on, sir? Should be a little.
Can you hear me now? Okay. Good morning. I have a master's degree in education, a minor's degree in business, finance, marketing management. As far as my education to help me with this, I also have my own business where I used to own my own businesses, budgeting, financing, hiring, staff discipline for this job. And do you mean just tell you what I've been doing the last years?
What would you like to share with us, sir?
Since I've been on the board, 2018, our finances for MNBE was negative 108,000. Today, they're 191,000 positive. MNB LLC in 2018 was negative 32,000. 2021 in March were positive 467,000. Coming into this, we did a lot of work to do. We got a new CEO and kind of redid the board structure of it. We closed out some non-profitable lines, such as Rex's Chicken, so we could focus on the profitable lines, which helped out a lot. We had to make some hard personnel decisions. Through COVID, we had to furlough, had to lay off and hire some different people in different. We had really good people. They were just kind of maybe in the wrong line, so our CEO did a good job restructuring that. Being on the board, I don't always go along with the popular vote of everything. I do my own research. Sometimes consists of long board meetings, but whatever I do, I want to do what's best for the board. What's best for the company and the tribe. Prior to, there's virtually no bidding awards. Now we're getting about 4 to 7 bidding awards. Just landed a $7 million contract that was started in February 2020. Before COVID, we had several bids awarded with the government. Then we had COVID government shut down, but they're starting to open up. We're starting to hear some bidding on that. Our Muskogee Staffing Solution, We got CLEAT certified. We're facility clearance, so we're on some good bases right now. I push professional development. That's my education background, being the superintendent. Where I'm at now, I push professional development of my teachers, so I push professional development of our staff and continuing education. We've had several employees go get certifications. Some of our employees are back in college, so I'm proud of them continuing their education, because if they can continue their education, they'll help our company. I've kind of, along with the board, I've helped change the attitude that we're not going to be complacent. We're going to be aggressive to help grow our company. And I work well with the other board members, and I ask to continue to be on the board.
Thank you, sir. Council, do you have any questions for Mr. Llewellyn? Questions or comments?
Speaker, I have a question, sir.
Representative Lowe.
Good morning, Mr. Llewellyn.
Good morning.
Could you tell the council, please, your biggest contribution to the MNBE board?
I feel through my biggest contribution is my educational background and being a principal for years, a coach my whole life, is always strive to be better day to day, get better day to day. Every board meeting, I want to be progressive. I want to accomplish something in every board meeting, not have a board meeting and leave and act like we didn't feel like we didn't accomplish anything. So I just believe my educational background and my coaching background to push for excellence every day, every year, I think is my biggest contribution about motivating employees.
Outstanding. I know, and I do appreciate, sir, how you don't always go with what the board wants. We always need those different perspectives. So I definitely support you, sir, and appreciate what you do, Madam
Thank you,
Speaker.
Councilman Lowe.
Thank you, Representative Lowe. Representative Scott.
Thank you, Speaker. I just want to make a comment, being the ex officio of this entity, that Mr. Llewellyn is correct. Sometimes we need a voice of reasoning on these boards and committees, and he is that voice of reasoning for that board. Mr. Llewellyn has exemplified some good decision making. I think it reflects in their financials that was presented to the council in the last BF&J committee meeting when they did their quarterly report. And I appreciate his service with his full-time job and extra duties that he has at his daily operations positions. Mr. Llewellyn, he's always at a meeting. He's never late. He's concurrent with the things that needs to be presented as is fulfill this duty. And I appreciate him wanting to have interest in re-upping his position. And I hope we support Mr. Llewellyn. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Representative Scott. Representative Randolph.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Could you give us your specific achievement? And since you've been on the board, what is one of your main specific achievements?
The bids that we've been getting, we've had when we started off, there was virtually no bidding awards being given to us, and through the structure and the restructuring, getting a new CEO and a team around her, the trust that we have developed with our board and our CEO, and to do our research and give her the authority to go after some of these bids and trusting her. Like I said, now we're getting a $7 million bid that started in 2020. So I think the income that we got coming in, the hard decisions that we've had to make to structure and restructure the company, I think was one of my biggest accomplishments on this.
Thank you. Thank you, Speaker.
Thank you, Representative Randolph. Representative Freeman.
Yes, good morning.
Good morning.
You mentioned how progressive you want to be. Do you know what your NICS codes are that you bid work under?
No, she just gave me a financials the other day, but we did a pilot program for some Army bases to put some security down there, and I push for pilot programs because in a pilot program, mistakes are allowed. So I like to do the pilot programs, and that's what we've got going on right now with some security bases in Texas and North Carolina, I believe.
I mean, how aggressive are you? Are you going to pursue other NICS code areas?
Oh yes, we've got several government where we got government lines coming, security. Man, the list goes on and on and on that we've got bids out. We're going to continue to do bids monthly. I mean, every time we can, we're going to do, we did start doing some work with the tribe last month and some security deals.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you, Representative Freeman. Representative Jennings.
Good morning, Mr. Llewellyn.
Good morning, Councilman.
Could you tell us your current status, your 8A status, what year you're in?
I'm in my third year of our 8A. We just did get some more access to some vehicles through our 8A programs, contract vehicles for our workers. Is that what you're asking?
No, no. You apply for your 8A status, so you get these government contracts, and it's so many years. So what year are you into this current?
I don't know that. That'd be something I have to ask our CEO. As far as our 8A status, I don't know that off the top of my head.
The reason I'm asking, it has lapsed before.
Okay.
So
Thank
thank you.
I put full trust in our CEO to make sure that doesn't happen. She's up to date and she's real good.
Thank you, Representative Jennings. Representative Lowe.
Thank you, Speaker. Not to make this longer, I remember visiting with Vivian and Chief. You may verify this. I believe they actually graduated one of their 8A certifications and we're working on their next one. So, Mr. Jennings, I remember that from BF&J. So I just kind of wanted to reiterate that. No, Speaker, that's it.
Thank you.
Thank you, Representative Lowe. Council, any other discussion or questions? Council, I will say this. Not only do I know Mr. Llewellyn on a business level, I also know him on a personal level. And some of the discussions that we've had, he has a great heart. I would just say that he has a great heart. He wants to serve the nation, and he wants to do what's best interest of our Muskogee Creek people. I know he's shared that discussion with me many times, and I fully support Mr. Llewellyn. I don't know how you stand, but I just wanted to share that. And Mr. Llewellyn, I appreciate what you do for the nation. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Speaker.
Okay, if there's no other questions, Mr. Llewellyn, we'll see you at 10 o'clock.
Thank you.
Next interviewee, we have Nadie Beauty, Secretary of Housing. Ms. Beauty, if you will come to the podium, please. Good morning and welcome. Ms. Beauty, will you share with the National Council your education, background, and experience for the Secretary of Housing position?
Ms. Beauty, could you please slide that mic up? We can't hear you. Thank you.
Is it on, Tracy?
Oh, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, sorry about that. Good morning, Council. My name is Nadie Beauty. I'm an enrolled tribal member of the Yavapai Apache Nation. My education background consists of an associate's degree in accounting, a business degree in management, which is a bachelor's degree, and then my most recent is a master's degree in business administration. Right now, I am currently the executive director for the Yavapai Apache Tribal Housing Department. Prior to this position, I was the controller for the Yavapai Apache Nation for approximately, I believe, 6 years. And during that time, I was also the interim finance director and treasurer for my tribe. I also served as the tribal gaming executive director for not only my tribe, but for also the San Carlos Apache tribe during that time. I was highly involved with gaming regulations within the state of Arizona for those specific tribes, working towards renegotiating a compact within our state, which was recently reauthorized, I guess, at this time. I also started my career in housing as the first low-income housing tax credit accountant. It was a new position within the tribe, And that was during the time when we'd started our first low-income housing tax credit program. At that time, I also was promoted within, I believe, a year to the comptroller position within the housing department. And then throughout my career, at one point I did go back to the housing department and was working as a housing counselor. And at that point, that was pretty much overseeing the programs as far as our low-income housing tax credits, mutual help homes, 184s. I was also involved with the 184 loan program there within my community. We had initiated at least, I believe, about 10 different loans. And since that point, we've also implemented other types of home ownership programs. So overall, my accounting experience, I have about 13 years of accounting experience from not only just the management level, but from actually getting in there and doing the work as far as grants, contracts, procurement, overseeing all entries within the accounting system. I've also been involved with our benefits program within our tribe, meaning our benefits as 401k, medical, dental, insurance. And then I also have a strong background with gaming regulations and any type of regulations, specifically with housing as well. Throughout my career, you could say that I am fully aware that there are guidelines set in place, especially when it comes to grants or any type of funding that are requirements are put in place. And then also with housing, I believe have about a good 7 years of housing experience. I've been involved with, most recently, walking into the position that I currently have is conducting environmental reviews. Prior to my employment with the housing department, there were some issues with environmental reviews, so that's where I had to step in and conduct them myself as the executive director, and then having to train other employees to take on that new responsibility because that was kind of a finding within the housing department. My background also is with the audits that I've been involved with, not only just financial audits, but from a regulatory standpoint. I believe back in my first job as a director of gaming in 2008, when I was in the position, come to find out that there were several findings with the state, and I went through and identified what the issues were, and then got our department up to speed on what we needed to do to ensure compliance. So at that point, we got all the findings down to 0. And then in 2011, I also was working for another gaming commission in the same situation, and identified those issues and then moved forward with creating a plan to ensure that we get back into compliance. So I led that second gaming commission to a 0 compact findings. And then when I worked for my tribe in the finance department starting in 2013, at that point there were several financial findings within the nation, and myself and the director of finance worked closely together to ensure that we identify those issues and make the necessary changes within the tribe, because we wanted to get to that point where we had no findings, because for my tribe, at least in my experience, we were limited in funding. So every type of grant funding that was made available, we wanted to ensure that we had the opportunity to compete with other tribes to get those grants. So once we finally got them down to 0, that really helped our tribe as a whole to better qualify and to compete with other tribes in receiving grant funding. At this point, pretty much, I've been in management for quite some time. I've supervised at least 30 employees at times, dealing with all types of different employment issues. And I think for anyone that I do supervise, my goal is always to ensure that we identify what our employees are looking for and what they want to do, and to help them get to that level that they choose. You know, I'm a big supporter of that because when I first started within my own tribe, I believe I was start working at the gift shop. And so since then, I've seen the opportunities that are available, and I want to make sure that others, you know, if they're ready, have that ability and have the opportunity. So when it comes to training and working with others, that's something that I really do enjoy with the positions that I have been in.
Thank you. Council, do you have any questions for Ms. Beauty?
Speaker.
Representative Lope.
No, Speaker. Yes, Miss Beauty. Looking at your resume, I will just say, as a fellow MBA, I appreciate, you know, your education and your experience. You know, I know that's stressful times of our lives to try to get that degree, so I appreciate that. My question would be, out of all the tribal nations in the world, what brings you to Muskogee Creek Nation and Okmulgee, Oklahoma?
You know, that was a question I was thinking about while I was traveling here this week. You know, for myself and all the opportunities that my tribe has provided to me, one of the things that I do see is I want to be able to help wherever I'm needed, wherever someone sees that, you know, I have the ability to assist. So for me, making such a drastic change from where I've grew up and live at, that's my main reason, is something different, a different environment. I've always lived where I have lived, and so I'm I like to achieve and help achieve goals that an organization may have. And I see that, you know, for me, coming here would be something that I would probably greatly enjoy, and I like to help wherever I can. You know, I've been into where I've walked into an office and had to start from scratch as a director and really identify processes, issues, and figure out what's the best way, you know, to help to meet the needs of that community. Mhm.
Thank you, Miss Beauty. In your board membership, professional life, have you ever worked with Muskogee Creek Nation before, or had any interactions with the Muskogee Creek Nation?
No, prior to kind of getting notified that there was a position out there, and I'll let you know up front that I do work with a Native American recruiter who's recruiting for Native American tribes or enterprises. And so, no, the only contact I have is that person, and she kind of identified the position and let me know it was open and that this tribe was seeking a Secretary of Housing. But no, I do not know anybody.
Outstanding.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much, Madam Speaker.
Thank you, Representative Lowe. Representative Huff.
Good morning, Beauty.
Good morning.
Next question: if we contacted, say, one of your fellow employees or your boss, what would they say about you in terms of your team efforts and how you approach the job and how you interact with other employees?
Okay. I think currently, if you reached out to any of the employees that I currently supervise within my department, one thing that they will probably say is, I love to follow up, you know, follow up with tasks, make sure that, you know, whatever projects or assignments that were issued, that we're staying on track with it and that we're making sure that it's completed to meet those deadlines. I think another thing that they would mention is that I have an open door policy. I'm approachable. You know, they're able to get in contact with me at any time to discuss any type of issues that may come up within the workplace, and that I'm always available.
Also, Ms. Beauty, if you were to say, we asked you, say, what was your best attribute that you can, let's say, that you can come to the tribe to work here, what gives you best qualifications to be the director here for housing?
I think the best qualifications for me to offer this position would be my finance background, budgeting, grant requirements, regulations, I believe that a large part of what this job entails will be that it will help make decisions for the overall housing department on whether or not some of the procedures, policies that are currently in place, if they're effective or not. And by using the budgeting and even job cost expenses to determine if that is something that is feasible within that department.
Thank you.
Thank you, Representative Huff. Representative McHenry.
Thank you. Good morning for being with us this morning. I just want to say, what is your drive each day to do this job?
My drive each day to do this job is the community. You know, I can really relate to probably almost any tribal community, living, growing up, working, and just seeing maybe the having the empathy for the members. An example could be recently we have a 35 home units that we have completed as part of our 7th low-income housing tax credit program. When I first was hired, I had a young gentleman come into the office and explain to me he didn't have anywhere to go. He had a child. We did not have emergency rental type situations within the housing department. And I had to tell him, you know, I didn't have anything, but try to find some sources for him on the outside. And then I think back in January, he was one of our individuals selected for the home. And to see that, you know, really was something for me as not just as director, but as an employee and a person, a member of my community, that they were selected for a home that they really needed. And last week I actually went out there. I do go out in the field because I want people to know, you know, I'm still here as a member and employee, but I went to the home because we had to conduct an inspection. And that was probably one of the greatest feelings, to see that this happened. The next step, he moved in and he was so happy to have that home. So I think the compassion, the empathy to relate to members is probably the most, one of those most greatest feelings to see, and to see them be successful.
Very good. Thank you.
Thank you, Representative McHenry. Before I go to the next one, I just want to say to the housing, et cetera, et cetera.
Right now, the total overall for Nahasda, we do receive tribal funding from the tribe, and then we also have 7 tax credit programs. I would safely say we probably operate with about $2 million at this time.
Okay. You know, we've had some other nominees, and you know, you've given me in these last 10 minutes your background, your resume, and your servant heart at most, that you're willing to help any individual, whether they're your tribe or not. And you know, I appreciate you showing interest in this position, and you have my support, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Representative Scott. Representative Tiger.
Thank you, Speaker. Good morning, Ms. Beauty.
Good morning.
How many homes do you currently have in your inventory?
Right now, total overall homes within the nation is approximately 408 homes. Out of those homes, I believe at least, I think almost 300 are probably still within the programs, meaning either Nahasda, low rent, or mutual help, or 184.
Thank you. And then last question is, how many employees do you oversee at this time?
When I first was hired in, I believe there was 35 employees. At this time, due to some financial situations, our budget was cut a little bit. So at this time, I believe there's 28 employees.
Thank you, Ms. Beauty. Thank you, Speaker.
Thank you, Representative Tiger. Representative Randolph.
I don't have a question, but I'd just like to say welcome. And, you know, just sitting in some of these interviews since I've been on council, I've noticed that we have some people that can come in with the best credentials. They can look great on paper, but if they don't have the heart for the people, they're not always a good fit. And I can see that you have the heart for the people, you have that servant's attitude, and it's good to see, so thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Representative Randolph. Representative Yehola Osborne.
Thank you, Speaker. Good morning, Ms. Beauty.
Good morning.
I don't have a question, but I've got a couple of comments. I want to come from the employee's perspective. Over the years since I've been a representative, I've had several employees reach out to me regarding the housing situation. And currently the morale is very low because there is no leadership. And I will tell you, with my experience from housing is a beast. And I believe we have not had a Secretary of Housing since Sam Whitlow left, and it might have been in late 2018. Excuse me. Ms. Beauty, I noticed that you bring housing, finance, and gaming experience, and I believe it wouldn't hurt to have a second set of eyes on our finances over at housing. The Indian Housing Plan is due at the end of June, and so that is a concern of mine. And I want to say this, before any of us were employees of the nation or even on the council, we were citizens first. And I believe our employees at housing deserve to be heard. Thank you. Thank you, Speaker.
Thank you, Representative Yehola Osborne. Council, any other questions or discussion? Hearing none. Thank you. You'll be on the agenda at 10 o'clock. Okay.
Thank you very much for
Thank
giving
you.
me the opportunity today.
Okay, next we have Christopher Ray, Gaming Operations Authority Board. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Speaker. Good morning, National Council.
Mr. Ray, if you will, please share with the National Council your education, background, and experience for the position that you are up for.
Yes, sir. My education background, I actually hold a Bachelor of Science degree in Legal Studies from East Central University. I hold a Juris Doctorate from the University of Tulsa College of Law. I'm also a member of the Oklahoma Bar Association. I do keep my bar license up to date. Previous work experience, I'm currently employed as the Title VI Indian Education and Johnson O'Malley Coordinator at Tahlequah Public Schools. Before that respective position, I held pretty much the same position at Morris Public Schools, and then was the athletic director, a teacher, and a coach at Henrietta Public Schools before that, and then spent 10 years at Willeka Public Schools. Other professional experience, I was a farm equipment salesman for Enlow Ford Tractor right out of college. And I also was a ranch foreman for a ranch out of Dallas, Texas, that they had some property in Ofuskie County, Oklahoma. So I have a very wide range of experience. I was actually first nominated for the board in 2008 by former National Council member Bill Fife. I've had the pleasure to serve since 2008. It's been an honor. It's been a privilege. It's been a challenge the last several years. As we're all aware, it's been very challenging for gaming as well as the nation and the country in general. I would be remiss. I would also like to mention that I am a tribal citizen as well as my wife. I have 2 daughters that are tribal citizens, and I have two granddaughters that are tribal citizens, and the success and the health of our nation is very important to our family. Gaming, I've been the chairman of the Gaming Operations Authority Board now for 8 years. The guiding principle that I utilize, providing leadership to that respective board, is I want our employees and I want the board to understand that I'm here to provide unbiased leadership, to encourage the board to fulfill and understand its role as a primary funding source for the nation and the services that we offer to our citizens, and to always make decisions with that as our guiding principle or as our mission. And I think if we do that, in the end, we'll be successful. I always encourage the board, and I encourage our enterprise to recruit and employ and retain very intelligent individuals. I learned that from a very successful businessman many, many years ago, that if you hire very intelligent people and you take care of those individuals, your enterprise will run very, very smoothly. And I feel like that we have those types of employees, those types of administrators in place. And that's one of the reasons I do believe that gaming's been very successful even during these trying times. And then we always try to, at gaming, we always try to make decisions based on hard data with the mission statement or with the guiding principle that I just mentioned. And, you know, I think the results speak for themselves. We were able to take care.
And Chris exemplifies very good leadership on the board, you know, and I appreciate his background and his ability to do the job he's done very well, being the chairman of the board. So I wholly support Chris Ray.
Thank you, Representative Huff. Representative Lowe.
Hello, Speaker. Hello, Chris. You know, I never realized your name was Chris. I always call you Chairman Ray, so it's pretty big news to me. But I just want to say your leadership when those board meetings, even your reports to BF&J and the council, that says a lot about your structure of how you run your meetings. And, you know, I just appreciate you all, GOAB, you're doing great. Never have any problems, and you're always willing to answer any questions that we have. So I definitely support you, sir, and thank you for all that you do, Madam Speaker.
Thank you, sir.
Representative Lowe. Representative Jones.
Thank you, Speaker. I support Mr. Ray. Known Mr. Ray for a long time, and to see that the GOB and gaming is our main operation and biggest income of the tribe, and really might as well say only, but it's the biggest income of the tribe, and I do support him wholly. Thank you.
Thank you, Representative Jones. Any other discussion? Hearing none. Thank you, Mr. Ray.
Thank you, Speaker Hicks. Thank you, Council.
Next, we have Kevin Agee, Gaming Operations Authority Board. Yes, sir. Mr. Agee, will you please share with the National Council your education background and experience for this position?
Yes. Good morning. My name is Kevin Agee. My education, I hold a bachelor's degree in business administration from Northeastern State University with a major in accounting. My background spans about 17 years when I graduated, starting in 2004 from NSU, and begins with auditing experience, federal and state taxation, audits, refund claims, settlements, oil and gas accounting, oil and gas operations, transportation operations, management and supervisor experience within those companies, financial analysis, economic modeling, financial forecasting. Within those roles, we've actually worked with states to develop and draft oil and gas law and exemptions for our industry. I currently sit on the Fountainhead board, or the board for Fountainhead Golf Course, and we oversee operations and look for ways to improve the course and operations down there and make it financially sound. And since I've been on that board, I'm the only one that's remained on that board, and we've seen the course improve dramatically since Mr. Stephen Fox took over the role as course manager. And I know they've got equipment on order as it stands right now, but they're in good shape and look to open for the season very successfully. I'm currently the chair of the Legal and Regulatory Commission with regards to the research that we have done for the tribe and the analysis on behalf of for the McGirt decision. I prepared specifically some analysis and forecasting as it relates to oil and gas potential and taxation, among other research in various forms of taxation for the nation, and provided that up the chain as well.
Thank you, sir. Council, questions for Mr.
Yeah.
Representative Huff.
Mr. Agee, how familiar with gaming for the nation here, and are you familiar with IGRA?
Sorry.
I said, are you familiar with the gaming for the nation here, and are you familiar with IGRA?
Yes, sir. Yes, I've done a little research since I was informed by Council below had sent me a message that letting me know, and I've been doing a lot of reading this in the past few days and brushing up on the on IGRA and kind of the jurisdictional framework that it provides, as well as the class of gaming that it established and kind of the regulatory body, as well as the Public Gaming Office of Public Gaming Commission of Creek Nation. So been doing a lot of reading the past few days to get brushed up on gaming operations. So.
What do you feel you bring to the board? What asset?
Just a strong background with financial analysis, taxation and administration, working with state regulatory authorities and bodies over the years to achieve goals for both the state and our industry as well. So I've struck a great deal of compromise with state and federal authorities over the years in those negotiations. And I believe I can bring the financial background and the analytical skills that are needed to achieve the objectives of the position.
I think, I started on as an official for the gaming board for years, and I think it's important that we have somebody on board who has an accounting background, who understands financials and so forth. Recently, Ms. Waller was on the gaming board, but she has decided not to pursue that position anymore. So I do think that we need somebody on the board to help out in the finance and understand what's going on, reading the financials and reading the audit and everything. And I support Mr. Easy. Thank you.
Thank you, Representative Huff. Representative Lowe.
Hello, Speaker. Good morning, Kevin.
Morning.
When we got our applications, I have a scoring matrix that I put everyone's resumes in, and Mr. Agee's was he's right up there. I mean, scored very high. I know this young man. You don't see gaming experience on his resume, but for us as a council, I looked at our current board members, and I wonder how many of them had gaming experience when they were confirmed. So for me, I feel Kevin is a very strong to serve on this board, and I definitely support him. So, Kevin, I appreciate you willing to step up and be willing to serve, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman. If I could respond, I certainly thought that as well. When I look at my resume, I have the lack of gaming experience, but like I said, with the knowledge I've learned the past few days, that's one thing I pride myself on when I take positions across the industry that I have over the years. If you look what I started out in, sorry I didn't run through my resume, it's kind of lengthy, but the different types of taxation, each time I went somewhere with a new, very large company with complex operations, I dove right in and mastered what I needed to do my job. So with that, I was able to learn, and I'm eager to learn this industry as well. So thank you.
Just one more comment, sir. I did listen to your projections and your analysis in the reservation commission, and very impressed. So those kinds of reports I love listening to, and the potential that you opened up for the tribe, or at least let us know, says a lot about your analytics. So thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you, Representative Lowe. Representative Scott.
Thank you, Speaker. Like Representative Lowe said in years past, been on this council since '05. I know that have put board members in positions that didn't have any experience, but they did have some background related to that field. So as far as education, et cetera, I appreciate Mr. Agee showing his interest in this position with his preparation over the years and trying to accomplish where he is now. And I think sometimes it's prudent that we don't look at the name; it's on the resume. We look at their qualifications, and I think that if that practice is in place, then I think we'd have a lot more citizens that would be willing to come and be interested, that's educated and willing to serve. So I appreciate Mr. Agee coming today. Thank you.
Thank you, Representative Scott. Any other questions, discussion? Hearing none. Thank you, sir. Stick around 10 o'clock and we'll go through the agenda.
Thank you all.
Our next interview is Miss Jackie Jackson. Good morning.
Good morning.
Okay, we have Jackie Jackson. She is interviewing for Gaming Operations Authority Board. Miss Jackson, if you would. Hey, that's a song, isn't it? Miss Jackson, if you would.
I've heard that for a long time.
Ms. Jackson, if you would share with the National Council your education, background, and experience for this position, please.
Okay. I am I hold a Bachelor of Business Administration. I finished my degree out of Langston on the University Center in Tulsa years ago. I started my degree at NSU, my Bachelor of Business Administration, which for those of us who have that degree, you know how hard it is. My daughter is currently pursuing that degree, and she finally came to me and told me, "Mother, I didn't realize this was that hard, and I don't know how you did it." But with that degree, you have to learn marketing, management, accounting. I did take 15 hours of accounting. After college, I went on and I worked for federal agencies. I've been a revenue officer for the IRS. I took that job very serious. It was very serious. I know I'm required to, even to this day, I can't disclose information that I know from that time period because I still could go to prison for it. So I take my job very serious. It was intense position. I worked for Small Business Self-Employed Division in Tulsa, Oklahoma. I had a zip code in Tulsa, Oklahoma, and I had the county of Noble County. And I dealt with small business. Small business could still be in the millions. It's not a mom and pop shop. But small businesses are the most successful normally and the most wealthy people in America. And I learned a long time ago when I was working in that area that I was going to teach my children that, and they have been successful. And my son's successful this day because I taught him what I gained in that area. And it is not a mystery. I tell people that, you know, business is not a mystery. Our people have not been taught business. So that's one thing I like to do is I like to help people to understand the concepts of business. I've been a financial analyst for the Oklahoma Native American Business Development Center. And what I did was you came to me with an idea or you came to me with a business plan and I would help you to write it, to put your idea into numbers. I would do all the financial analysis, the projections. I would compare it with the industry standards, and I would package your loan and send it to the bank. And I would go with you to the banker if I needed to help explain it and to show that it was profitable. I have served on many boards. I currently serve for the Sac and Fox Business Enterprise Board, which is the equivalent of your GOAB. So I have to oversee the Black Hawk Casino and Stroud Casino. And I've been on that board for about 14 months now. And we have turned it around in 14 months. They have paid their per cap payment on time this last fiscal year. So we have really done a great job with their casinos. I currently help my son. He has Narcomi Construction, and I'm his business development person. So I help him with his different contracts. I help him with his accounting. I also, last summer during the big COVID, I wrote the business plan and did the financial analysis and took it to the bank for my son to purchase the Crossroads RV Park. Talked to the banker, I went to meet with him on June 15th. He didn't even lay eyes on Timothy until like July 20th. And he just said, "I want to see the man who's going to be owning this place." He said, "I've read all the analysis. We've figured out this is a good project. Let's go ahead and get you funded." And with the help of Muskogee Creek Nation, I have to give you a heads up on that one. We have the Muskogee Loan Fund. They helped my son with a down payment to purchase the Crossroads RV Park. So I understand business very well. I'm educated in that. Also, when I worked for the Bureau of Indian Affairs, I was over a $500,000 loan portfolio. So I was actually the person that administered the guaranteed loan program for the Seminoles in Seminole County. And I put on workshops and I'd invite people up to the mission and we would show them how to write the business plan. And then I would teach them how to do the financial analysis, the projections. Because when you go to a banker, you have to have at least 5 years projections. And I would help them to do that. I left the Bureau. I'm a type A personality. The Bureau was not for me. I see Joyce looking at me over there. Joyce was at the Bureau when I was at the Bureau. And the executive director for the Eastern Region Oklahoma office came to me and told me to sit in my office and not to teach more classes to the Seminoles, to sit there until someone darkened my door. And I said, that is a waste of my education, that's a waste of my knowledge, and that's a waste of my experience. And I left the Bureau. So since then, I have done many, many things. I worked for the Otoe-Missouri tribe most recently, and I've been very successful for them. They appointed me, and I was very honored. The council appointed me to be their chairman of the utility board. and I worked with Wilson Pipe Stem's office in Tulsa, Oklahoma, to create their policies and procedures for the board. And we oversaw all of their water, sewer, all their infrastructure for the tribe. I've been successful working with federal agencies, working with the OTOs. I had to do consultation meetings with the Army Corps of Engineers. I've worked directly with the HUD people in Oklahoma City. I've worked with their compliance people. I could pick up the phone and call Sherry Coleman on any day. I worked with, oh my goodness, Department of Justice. I have it on my phone. There's so many things that I have done. I was a tribal planner for about 7 years. I was acting tribal executive director. I was chairman of the board for almost all those years. I was project director for 3 different HUD projects in the millions. I was very successful working with their water projects. That was one of the feathers in my cap. People do not realize the power of the tribes and water rights. And from when I got there in 2013 till I left in 2020, I successfully managed to, what the Chickasaws and Choctaws did, they had to get tribal water rights, you have to evaluate, you have to understand how much water and where your water is. So I had all kinds of analysis done on Red Rock Creek. I worked with the Army Corps of Engineers. We received many, many grants. And the last grant we received was from the Army Corps of Engineers. And there was only 2 sent out in the state of Oklahoma from Congress, and one was mine. And it was to do an analysis on making the Ota, Missouri tribal water supplier for northeastern Oklahoma, a regional water supplier. So we had to calculate and analyze, and that was the most important aspect of having your water right. So I hope they go on and fulfill that and pursue that. And I've talked to their chairman, he needs to go on and pursue that. But I could go on and on, but if you have any questions, feel free to ask.
Thank you, Ms. Jackson. Council, you have any questions for Ms. Jackson? Representative Huff.
Yeah, you know, you worked in the Office of Public Gaming, so you're pretty familiar with IGRA and everything, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
I worked for the Office of Public Gaming as a compliance officer at one time. So I understand the minimum internal controls, the tribal internal controls, I understand IGRA. And back in the day, I worked at Bingo, and I was actually a young kid selling Bonanza cards when they announced we won our case against Oklahoma State Tax Commission. So gaming has always been very near and dear to my heart.
Thank you.
Thank you, Representative Huff. Any other questions? Representative Marshall.
Hi, Ms. Jackson.
Hello.
I have a question. At one time, didn't you start a gaming magazine?
Yes.
Is that still going?
No, that went for 2 years, from 2005 to 2007. And that was when we first signed our compact. And we signed ours, I do believe, in 2006, wasn't it? Robert? That's when they passed the law. I had left the Bureau, and Oklahoma passed the law to allow Class 3 gaming in the fall of 2005. And so, no, fall of 2004, so we did it in 2005. That's what we did it. And I started the gaming magazine, and the mission of the magazine was to promote the positive economic impact that tribal gaming has on Oklahoma's economy. Because, you know, I went to school in NSU and I had to do speech class, and I always heard people say, oh, the tribes always want this, the tribes always want that. No, we create an economy for the state of Oklahoma. Even back when I was in college in the 90s, we created economy for the state of Oklahoma. We had road dollars, we have housing dollars, we have all kinds of federal dollars that come in because of the tribe.
Thank you, Representative Marshall. Representative Jones.
Thank you, Speaker. Ms. Jackson, I think you said just a little bit ago, you actually sat on Sac and Fox's board as well. If confirmed, will you step down from that board?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
I notified them of this meeting today, so they would be searching for someone to fill my position if I get voted through.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Representative Jones. Any other questions? Hearing none. Thank you, Ms. Jackson. We'll
Thank
see
you very
you
much.
at 10 o'clock. Okay, this concludes the order of business. Down to announcements. Quarterly session will begin, I say 10 o'clock, but I think IT is going to reboot the live stream system. So 10:10, give everybody a break. Okay, we will resume at 10:10. Any other announcements? Hearing none, entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Representative Proctor made a motion to adjourn, seconded by Representative Scott. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. We are adjourned at 9:57.
Oh, I don't know.